Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Van Studios, here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited, thrilled, delighted to be here. Rob Brenton is here as well. We are so happy. We are enthusiastic about being here. Yesterday was one of the greatest sports nights in the history of our fine city. The Kansas City Chiefs take care of business on Monday Night Football, and the Royals go on the road in the second game of the divisional series and take care of the New York Yankees. The Royals are coming home tomorrow for two games on Thursday and Wednesday. We will be at Kaufman Stadium for both of those games. We are expecting, knock on wood here, Eric Hosmer is going to join me out at the stadium. Hudler's going to be out there. Vern's going to be out there. We are going to have a lot of Chiefs over the course of the next 4 hours. Also going to have a lot of Royals over the course of the next 4 hours as well. Really happy that you guys have decided to make us part of your Tuesday. All right, we got so much to get into. We are going to lead with the Chiefs and the Royals because I imagine you were either flipping back and forth or maybe you did the YouTube TV multi-view and you got a chance to watch both teams play at the same time. We'll get to the Royals coming up after Rob gives you a chance to win a pizza.
Pizza time on The Drive. Carrington, dial me up right now. Call number 6, 913-586-7965. They win a pizza from our friends over at Pizza Tassio. Pizza Tassio is Kansas City's best New York-style pizza, and they have taken over the town. They got locations in Waldo, Belton, North KC, OP, and Midtown. They also have a killer selection of craft and local beers, plus unique wines. So whether you're hungry enough for a whole pie or just want a slice or two, be sure to visit them now at pizzatasio.com. That's pizzatascio.com.
I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock. Number two, I need you to tell one friend. I don't need you to tell two friends that if you want some of the best pizza in Kansas City and you watched both teams play last night, the best place to recap those are with us right here on 96.5 The Fan. All right. You know what? I am happy that our show has decided to be the show about math. Because baseball, when you really boil it down, it is just a series of equations. We are here to give you the numbers and the information because that matters. Let me tell you something. They have been doing the divisional round of the playoffs in this same format. 2 there, 2 here, 1 back at Yankee Stadium. They have been doing this format since 1995. Now, that's a pretty decent sample size. I think you would agree. That's a long time. That's before the Olympics were in Atlanta. They've been doing this a long time. Did you know that the teams that are heading home for games 3 and games 4, well, that would be the Kansas City Royals. In a series that was tied 1-1, they have won 66% of those series. Now, some teams lose in this scenario, but way more of those teams win. We told you yesterday that it was a must-win game for the Royals and that it was the only way for you to have the advantage in this series. I think these two teams are far closer than maybe their records would indicate and the payrolls would indicate. We've seen 2 games between these two teams. We've seen 18 innings. One team doesn't look particularly better than the other team. So you got to figure out where you can find advantages. And I think it is clear when you look at the math, when you look at the pitching dynamic in possibly 3 more games of this series, whether it's Seth Lugo going in game 3, whether it would be Cole Reagans potentially pitching in game 5 back at Yankee Stadium, the Royals, as of now, have the advantage in their series over the New York Yankees. Think about the 2 courses of action. It is either take care of business in your next 2 home games in front of sellout, raucous crowds at Kaufman Stadium, or worst case scenario is you go back to Yankee Stadium for another game with Cole Reagans on the mound and the Yankees. Their kryptonite is left-handed starting pitching. The Yankees won 94 games this past season. They had a losing record against left-handed starters. We have found out what the weakness is for the New York Yankees. And if there is a team that has elite, high-level left-handed pitching, it would be the Kansas City Royals. Baseball is a series of math equations, and this equation is firmly in the Royals' favor. Teams in this position win 66% of their series. Yesterday, they did exactly what they needed to do. They got timely hitting, they got runs, they got a good starting pitching effort, and that bullpen came in and once again was lights out. That has been the formula for this Royals team so far in this postseason. You now come home for a couple of games on Wednesday and Thursday, and in my opinion, you now have the advantage in your series against the New York Yankees. All right, Rob, let's talk about the football as well. I imagine a lot of people were bouncing back and forth yesterday, catching up with the Royals and the Kansas City Chiefs. We are going to head to New York coming up in about 20 minutes with Justin Shackle, who covers the team. We'll get the Yankees' perspective on yesterday, and we'll also talk about Jazz Chisholm when I have no clue why you would go out of your way to make yourself the villain in this series. Royals fans were leaving you alone. You're a good player. A lot of Royals fans wanted Jazz Chisholm to be a Kansas City Royal. I don't know why he would now put himself at the top of the villain list and open himself up to the boos that are going to rain down from the heavens tomorrow at Kaufman Stadium, but that is what they have signed my man up for. All right, let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. You want to know what my favorite thing about yesterday's game was? And I would say that yesterday was the first time that we have seen the Chiefs do this offensively at any point this season. You know what they did? They took what the strengths and weaknesses of their offensive lineup was and maximized that to its full potential. I don't have to tell you that the Chiefs right now are dealing with a lot of injuries, whether it's on the offensive line, whether it's in that running back room, whether it's that wide receiver room. The Chiefs have been hit with the injury bug. The Chiefs then go out and pick up Kareem Hunt, a guy who used to be a number one running back in this league, a guy who has way more tread left on the tires than I thought that he did. Yesterday, they gave Kareem Hunt the ball 27 times, and I know Rob's going to tell you it's causation versus correlation, that the Chiefs had the lead the entire time. When the Chiefs run the football effectively, you are not beating them. Yesterday, the Chiefs had a well-balanced attack of Patrick Mahomes, who played really well, throwing for over 330 yards, and they ran the football effectively. The Chiefs outran the New Orleans Saints 139-46. If you replicate that formula, you are not beating the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Chiefs have a capable running back, and they gave him the football. You know what else they did? The Chiefs have invested more in tight end than maybe any other team in the National Football League. They have the greatest tight end possibly to ever live. They just gave Noah Gray a new contract. They brought back Jody Fortson. They spent the draft pick on Jared Wiley. You know what they did? They threw it to him. They threw it to Travis Kelce. They threw it to Noah Gray. They threw it to Jody Fortson. It's not that hard. It's simple. Get your best players the football or use your roster strength to your advantage. Right now, a strength in their run game is Kareem Hunt. Right now, one of the strengths in their passing game is the tight end. You know what Juju Smith-Schuster is? A tough run after the catch, yards after the catch receiver. You know what they did? They got him the ball in space yesterday. It worked. We thought that Juju Smith-Schuster was left for dead. He got cut by the New England Patriots for a Kendrick Bourne. He had 7 catches for 130 yards. He had more yards receiving yesterday for the Chiefs than he had his entire time in New England. Mecole Hardman, you know what they did with Mecole Hardman? You're going to be screen guy. We don't need to give it to you out of the backfield. We don't need to get too cutesy. We're going to give you the ball at the line of scrimmage, and we're going to use your incredible speed to make a guy miss or two and pick up yards. He was an extension of the run game. Xavier Worthy, you might be the fastest guy in the league. We're going to send you on a couple of streak routes and see what happens. He forced a long pass interference because you threw it down the field. It was so encouraging to watch yesterday offensively. Yes, the Chiefs still have some flaws offensively. This is a team that still struggles in the red zone, which makes sense given the offensive pieces that you have. But you know what yesterday? The Chiefs' offense was handed lemons, and they made lemonade yesterday. You were handed Kareem Hunt, who is shown to be a very capable dual threat back and a guy that if you give carries can have success over the course of his career. They did that. He had success. The Chiefs have invested heavily in tight end. They used them yesterday. It worked. You've got fast, speedy guys on the outside. Get them the ball and make a guy miss. I thought their offense between the 20s to the 20s was as potent and as efficient as you can expect them to be given the personnel. I love the offense for the most part. We'll talk about the defense that just continues to strangle the life out of other team offenses. Alvin Kamara was non-existent for most of the evening. Chris Olave, who's one of the better young receivers in the National Football League, anytime your brother is tweeting about the usage that you have on a national TV game, your brother didn't do a whole lot. Chris Olave, padlocked, locked up yesterday. A non-factor, non-existent in the game. You could not have written up a better Monday night if you were a Kansas City sports fan than what you got. Cole Reagans was fantastic. Salvador Perez hit a home run yesterday. The Royals go on the road to tie up the series 1-1 against the New York Yankees. And the Chiefs continue to be exactly what they are. They're the best team in the National Football League, and it's not close. They continue to dominate the rest of the league. In a league in which we gave you the stat yesterday, teams that were 5-point underdogs are better. They were 16-2-1, and they have been 12-6 outright. There was never a chance for the Saints to win that game yesterday. They got completely dominated from start to finish by the Kansas City Chiefs. Coming up on the other side, we'll be joined by Justin Shackle. He covers the New York Yankees. We'll also talk about Jazz Chisholm, that for some reason has decided to be the villain in this series. That's coming up. Keep it right here. So Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
The Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and our two soccer teams, the Current and St. Louis City SC, are all endorsing Amendment 2. Here's why you should support it too. Right now, Missouri sports fans are taking their money and placing their bets in Kansas and Illinois. We're losing our money to other states, money that could be invested in our schools. Amendment 2 fixes that. By legalizing sports betting, Amendment 2 will generate over $100 million for Missouri schools over the next 5 years. And there's a strong constitutional guarantee ensuring the revenue from sports betting will go to education. Kansas and Illinois know sports betting is a winner for their fans and taxpayers. It's time for Missouri to get into the game. Amendment 2 means over $100 million for Missouri schools. Join the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, Current, and St. Louis City SC in supporting Amendment 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
I love this business, really. I love seeing the look on a guy's face the first time he sees the ring we created. The custom ring that's going to say to her what he can't say with words. The ring she'll show off to her family and friends and wear for the rest of her life. Yeah, I love it. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, and I see a lot of it. In fact, we're having our best year ever. I love that, too. More people are trusting House of Diamonds than ever before. They come for our one-of-a-kind custom jewelry, to be sure, but they also come for a better diamond at a better price because we only carry the top 5% in each diamond grade, priced direct from the cutter. In fact, a new customer recently compared our diamond to a so-called higher-graded and more expensive diamond at a store down the street. Our diamond was noticeably better in color, brilliance, and quality. No surprise. You don't last 3 decades as a family business charging more for less. House of Diamonds, still on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Are you in need of top-quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Cronius Professional Welding Equipment, service and repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
Game time is here! It's your last chance to see the old-world game of jousting battled out live at the Kansas City Renaissance Festival. Enjoy 22 stages of dynamic entertainment or feast on food fit for royalty. Final weekend, October 12th, 13th, and 14th. Tickets available at kcrenfest.com.
Your coworkers might annoy you, promise we won't. Download the free Odyssey app and you can listen to us at work while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Tune in late? You can rewind your favorite live shows to catch what you missed. And with Chapters, easily jump to the topics that you care about most, like the latest updates from your team. Your sports talk, your way. The Odyssey app. Download it today.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Using the Labor Day weekend to get some work done? We got you. Stop by any store to save on oil, fuel system cleaner, wipers, and more. Looking for an end of summer wash? We've got deals for that too. Don't want to leave the garage? Get same-day delivery on AutoZone.com. Do Labor Day your way by getting something done at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
There's new Tropic Bowls in paradise at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Enjoy our new Bahama Mama Bowl inspired by our fan fave smoothie flavors, serving pineapple, strawberry, and coconut. Or dig into 32 grams of protein with our new Peanut Butter Protein Crunch Bowl. It's tropic time.
Smokey the Bear.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. And remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Coming up in just a bit, we are going to be joined by Justin Shackle. He covers the New York Yankees. We'll get his thoughts on the now road team's perspective on how the first 2 games of the series have gone. I want to play some audio for you guys. This audio is from Jazz Chisholm. Now, Jazz Chisholm he's a pretty good player. Can play on the outfield, can play on the infield. When the Royals were looking for a bat at the deadline, he was a player that I wanted the Royals to go out and acquire. Now, I feel good about that. He's been a good player for the Yankees. He's been a good player in this series for the most part. I don't know why he did this.
Still feels the same that we're going to win it, I don't feel like anybody feels any different, We're going to go out there and do our thing still. We still don't feel like any team is better than us. Like you said, we had a lot of missed opportunities tonight, so they just got lucky.
Here's the thing. I like when the players say interesting things. I like when they're funny. I like when they're a little controversial. I like when they stir things up. It's really good for people in my profession when they do this. I just don't know why you would go on the road and make yourself the target. No one was checking for Jazz Chisholm. Not when you got Aaron Judge on that team and Juan Soto on that team and Giancarlo Stanton, and you just got superstars up and down that lineup. You now want to be the most hated player on the field, and every time they announce you're going to get booed? It wasn't going to be any noise when you went up there. Now you turned yourself into public enemy number one. This is silly. This is dumb. There's no reason to do this. There's really no reason. And respectfully, Jazz Chisholm, I don't know if you're good enough to be doing this kind of talking. The Royals got lucky. They just beat you. They were up 4-1 after 5 innings, and they held on and won the game 4-2. How did the Royals get lucky yesterday? It wasn't like it was some controversial call. You know what possibly being lucky is, being called safe when you were out. That's lucky to me. Not having an obvious play overturned. That feels a little bit lucky to me. I don't even understand how the Royals could have been lucky yesterday. Rob, can you try to make some sense of these comments from Jazz Chisholm? Again, I like it. It's Sports Talk Radio. I like when he gets you guys all fired up. I just don't know why you would put the heat on yourself if you're Jazz Chisholm for absolutely no reason. Can you even explain to me why, if you cover the New York Yankees, why you're even talking to Jazz Chisholm? We got maybe the biggest star in baseball on this side. Go figure out a question to ask Aaron Judge. Why are you even talking to Jazz Chisholm? That man could walk around Kansas City and be completely under the radar and go unnoticed. And now they're going to boo you? You know what I would do if I'm the Royals? I don't even know if this goes against Major League Baseball rules or not. You know what I would do? Instead of giving us random stats about how he hits with runners in scoring position and what his BABIP is and all these other baseball terms that they come up with, I would just put his quote on the Jumbotron. That's it. I would just put his quote. Listen to this. This is unbelievable to me.
Still feels the same that we're going to win it, you know. I don't feel like anybody feels any different, you know. We're going to go out there and do our thing still. We still don't feel like any team is better than us. Like you said, we had a lot of missed opportunities tonight, so they just got lucky.
Text line 913-586-7965. C-Dot, did you expect him to say that the Royals are better and that they'll win? People are making this a bigger deal than it should be. It's good for radio, I guess. Okay, here's the thing. There is a big difference in saying that the Royals are better and that they'll win than calling the Royals lucky when they just beat you. And the people making it a big deal than it should be, the only people that matter in this are the fans. I don't care what Jazz Chisholm said. It don't matter to me. I don't care. You know who cares? 40,000 people tomorrow at the game. You just put this heat on yourself unnecessarily for no reason. That's why. That's why it matters. They were never going to boo Jazz Chisholm. Whenever you went up there, they were going to play your little walk-up song, and you were just going to go completely unnoticed in this scenario. Now, people are going to hold Jazz Chisholm signs up who had no clue who he was yesterday. That's what makes this so stupid. That's what makes this so dumb. There's a way to say, hey, man, the Royals got us. We'll get them again in Game 3. Then it's dumb. There's no way to justify what Jazz Chisholm said. Absolutely no way to justify it. None. Nonsense. It's silly. It's dumb. That's the only way to put it. It's dumb. Let's head to the phone lines right now. 913-586-7965 to be joined by one of the voices for the New York Yankees. Justin Shackle joins us on the show. Justin, man, we appreciate you. We have been going through the stats since 1995. Teams that were 1-1 and heading back homes to games 3 and game 4, they won 66% of the series. How do you feel about this series right now? What do you make of this series being tied at 1 apiece?
I tell you what, I'm bullish on this Yankee team this year, but these first 2 games, there were a lot of mistakes for the Yankees. I thought they were fortunate to come away with the win in Game 1. I mean, they're starting pitching. I know it's not a starting pitching era. I know it's not a marquee position the way it was. I know, relievers are all about grip and rip. That's the era we're in because relievers have never been better, but I still believe in October your starting pitching is going to be your backbone. And Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon, they've combined for 8 2/3 innings and have allowed 14 hits over the first 2 games. So that really stood out to me. And look, for most of this season, the Yankees didn't get to 94 wins by accident. They are a talented group. But for a lot of the mistakes that they do make, they were covered up by Aaron Judge and Juan Soto really doing a great job and having spectacular seasons. We know the story with Aaron Judge over the first two games. He just hasn't hit. So I think you're seeing the small, detailed mistakes that have been with this team for much of 2024. They popped up a little bit in the first two games, and Aaron Judge hasn't been there to mask those mistakes. I think that's what you've seen so far. And also, they're playing a team that uncovers a lot of mistakes in the Royals. Like, you don't need me to tell you this. I mean, they have two excellent starting pitchers at the top of the rotation. They have a bullpen that caught a lot of fire down the stretch, and they have a fast lineup. And sometimes those are the ingredients that can expose an opponent's weaknesses.
Why do you think the Yankees struggle so much against left-handed starters? This team has been fantastic from start to finish, but left-handed starters really give them a difficult time.
I think for the totality of the regular season, that's definitely something where the overall numbers don't look too good for the Yankees. But down the stretch, actually, of the regular season, they had performed better against left-handed starters. So I don't know if it was a trend that was maybe reversing itself, but the overall numbers obviously not good. They rank either the half or the bottom third against lefties, and it's just you try to figure out and get to the bottom of it over the course of 162, and no one really has a definite answer. So it's one of those baseball things, perhaps. If you look at the numbers league-wide, I think they've been down against left-handed pitching overall this season. But, yeah, for a team like the Yankees, it's something that stands out for sure.
Justin, it feels to me that these two teams are maybe a little bit more even than what the paper would say. And whichever team can get their star going, whether it's Bobby Witt Jr., who doesn't have a hit so far in this series, or Aaron Judge, who has also struggled so far this series, whichever team can figure out a way to get their star involved, that's probably the team that's going to have the advantage moving forward.
Can you believe that? Can you believe Aaron Judge and Bobby Witt Jr. are combined 1 for 17 in this series with, I think, 8 strikeouts? So, yeah, I mean, what do we hear all the time when you go into these types of series? One team is going to do its best to have that star player not beat them. The Yankees and the Royals have done good jobs neutralizing their star players. How long is that going to last? Who knows? But that, you want to keep taking advantage, I think, obviously, for your either side here. One thing that struck me, kind of surprised me last night, in at the time it was a 3-run deficit, Luke Weaver came on, and he's been sensational for the Yankees since taking over as the closer. And he came out to face Bobby Witt in that 9th inning. And again, just one small part of the game, but it was an extra at-bat in which Witt was able to see Luke Weaver. And in a short series, a playoff series, the more times that you're seeing a reliever, I think the advantage goes to the hitter. So that actually surprised me a little bit. Again, a small detail last night. I don't think it was going to amount to much, but obviously the Yankees, you want to play aggressive and keep the game within 3 runs. But that's something that jumped out to me. But it's one of the big stories here. Judge and Witt not getting it going so far.
Right now, we're talking to Justin Shackle for a couple more minutes. He covers the New York Yankees. I have a stat for you. Teams that are heading home for Games 3 and Games 4 in a series that's tied at 1 apiece, they have won 66% of those series. So the math would say that the Royals have the advantage moving forward. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like the Royals have the advantage right now in this series?
I think you have Lugo going in Game 3. And look, I mean, if you want to just go by those types of numbers, yeah, look, it's a best-of-3 series right now with Kansas City having home field advantage. Nothing shocks me anymore. I will say this. The Yankees were by far and away the best road team in baseball this season. I mean, they played over 600 baseball on the road. That was their best winning percentage on the road since, I believe, 2003. So they took care of business at Kaufman Stadium when they were there in June. They were a few outs away from pulling off a 4-game sweep. They took 3 of 4, and a Clay Holmes blew a save, and that's how the Royals picked up the win in the finale. But there is something to that, I think, this season with the Yankees. I think they, for whatever reason, they've been and looked a little bit more comfortable on the road. So, yeah, I mean, you go with the chalk in a short series for sure. But if you want to go with, what your eyes are telling you here in 2024, the Yankees have been a really good road team.
Justin, as somebody who covers this sport, how cool is it that every divisional series is tied at 1-1 right now? It just goes to me to really show you the parity that we have in the sport. We saw that over the course of the regular season. No team won 100 games, and there felt like there were so many teams that are jumbled up, that a big market club like Kansas City and a small market club like Kansas City, these two teams feel even in this series. What does, I guess, this divisional series say about where we are at baseball with the parity from top to bottom?
I love it. I love the chaos. I think it's never been more of a tournament type format than it is now. Some people may not like it. I generally do. I think, in terms of getting here and getting to this point and advancing, never mind, if you throw the payrolls out the windows, look, it's going to measure how tough you are. And toughness is a big ingredient to getting to a championship. So, between the layoff, the rest versus rust debate, the parity, the market size, you throw it all in there. I'm looking to see who the toughest team is, because the toughest team usually wins out. And when they're there, you deserve it.
Last thing here, Justin, I appreciate your time. What are your keys? What do the Yankees need to do to get this series back to Yankee Stadium for a Game 5?
Well, I think they want to just end it in Kansas City. I think they want to end it in 4 games for sure. But I think I think they need to hit more. Bottom line, I think the top 4 in their lineup, top 5, you got to throw Giancarlo Stanton in there. They haven't come through with big hits. Look, they're sluggers. They can do more than hit just home runs, but they haven't slugged. They have to slug, and they also have to receive better starting pitching than they had in the first 2 games. I think those are the two keys right there.
That is Justin Shackle joining us on the show today. Happy to catch up with him. Justin, I don't know how often you talk to Jazz Chisholm, but I would just tell him that he is about to walk into a Hornets nest tomorrow, my friend.
I'm all about the drama. I'm all about drama. So yeah, I'm interested to see how the start of Game 3 looks over at Kaufman Stadium.
That is Justin Shackle joining us on the show. Justin, great stuff, man. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
No, trust me, there's going to be a lot of drama tomorrow at Kaufman Stadium directed towards Jazz Chisholm. I just don't understand it. You're not Justin Timberlake. You're not Beyonce. You were Chris Kirkpatrick. You could have just stayed low-key. You could have just kept being Lance Bass. Just do your dance, do your little choreography, keep collecting these checks, stay under the radar. Nobody was checking for you, Jazz Chisholm. You were doing just fine. Why did you have to do this to yourself? I'm telling you, it is not going to be good for you tomorrow at Kaufman Stadium. I just want to go ahead and put the word out there. I want him to get mentally prepared for it, because the boos that are about to rain down on that brother tomorrow, it is going to be of biblical proportions out there at Kaufman Stadium. Let me give you guys a number really quickly. Rob, did you know that Aaron Judge in his postseason career is hitting .208 and has a .311 on-base percentage? Did you know that? You could argue that Aaron Judge is the best baseball player on the planet. He's certainly in the conversation. Him, Shohei, Bobby Witt Jr., he's going to win American League MVP. You can absolutely argue that Aaron Judge is the best baseball player in the world. He looks like playoff James Harden. He looks like early playoff Peyton Manning to me. That's what I'm seeing. He looks like NFC Championship Aaron Rodgers is kind of the vibe that I'm getting right now from Aaron Judge. Embarrassing performances so far. Absolutely embarrassing performances. It ain't good.
I mean, this is the MVP. Costas mentioned it ad nauseum last night. The unanimous MVP is coming to bat. Well, he also got very excited about a pop fly he hit. Oh, it could go! It could go! It's a can of corn, Bob.
It was a can of corn. No, that's accurate. It was a can of corn. You know what? I've got more numbers for you guys. I just have so many numbers, so many stats today. I was working the computer box earlier today. Word to Sean Barber. Do you guys remember there was a song in the mid-2000s? It was called Locked Up by Akon. I used to love that song. You know what? I'm going to guess that that's Trent McDuffie's favorite song. Rob, can you give me a little bit of music, good brother? Can I tell you guys what Trent McDuffie has been out there doing? Zay Flowers had 37 yards. Didn't score. Jamar Chase. You know Jamar Chase. He's like Jazz Chisholm. Loves to talk. Jamar Chase had 35 yards. Didn't score a touchdown. Drake London. He played all right. He had 67 yards. Quentin Johnston. Robbie had 9 yards yesterday, or a couple weeks ago. Yesterday, Chris Olave. Chris Olave's good. Chris Olave's like a top 25 receiver in the National Football League. I really like Chris Olave. I liked him coming out of Ohio State. He had 10 yards receiving. Padlock. Locked up. Incarcerated. In the hole. It's bad for these wide receivers. I'm telling you, anytime your family members start tweeting about you not getting enough targets during the game, you ain't playing well. Did you see that from Chris Olave's brother? 1 target, question mark. Well, number one, you got Derek Carr as your team starting quarterback, so that should already let you know that something was going wrong. I'm going to tell you this. I should never hear Chase Tipton's name in a football game. They were throwing way too many passes to Chase Tipton yesterday because your boy Chris Olave was getting absolutely locked up yesterday. Trent McDuffie had that brother in a straitjacket yesterday. I felt bad for him. Rob, let's talk about the running backs here. It's been bad for them too. Derrick Henry, 13 carries, 46 yards. Alvin Kamara yesterday, 11 carries, 26 yards. Updated scoreboard. Starting running backs against the Chiefs are averaging 2.6 yards per carry. They take your Hall of Fame all-pro running backs and they turn them into Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's what they've done so far this season. They've done this against quality backs. They played up against Bijan Robinson. They went up against J.K. Dobbins. Alvin Kamara, who's been a top 5 back in the league. Derrick Henry, who is going to the Hall of Fame. Zach Moss and Chase Brown, 2 capable running backs for Cincinnati. They don't have 200 yards as a group against the Chiefs. They don't have 175 yards as a group. That's 5 different backs. They don't have 175 yards out of the group. It's been a padlock. I understand why the Chiefs offense grabs so many of the headlines because of the star power. Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid's an offensive coach. What the Chiefs defense has done over the last 18 months has been absolutely remarkable. It has been. I mean, we're talking about stars in this league. Jamar Chase, Zay Flowers is a really good player. Chris Olave, Derrick Henry, those guys have done nothing against the Chiefs offensively. You saw what Atlanta's offense did the next week when they played Tampa Bay. Points everywhere, just throwing the ball all around the field. Darnell Mooney, great. Everybody's playing well. None of that was going on when they were playing the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense is the best unit on their team. I know no one outside of Kansas City would say that or acknowledge that because of Patrick Mahomes, because of Travis Kelce. It is not close in my mind. They could have played another 4 quarters of that game. I'm not sure how many more times the Saints were scoring in that game. They never got it going yesterday offensively. Olave never got going. Alvin Kamara didn't get going. They had 1 deep pass to Shaheed yesterday. They had 1 deep pass. That was it yesterday. That was it. It was the only thing they could get going the entire game. Coming up at the top of the hour, there's one thing that I need to complain about. You guys know I can't go. I know that we're happy. It's sunny outside. The Royals are coming home for a playoff game. The Chiefs are 5-0 heading into a bye week. You guys think I could go the entire show without complaining about something? That's not in my nature. That's not what this show is built on. The show is built on me complaining about things. We'll do that coming up in just a bit. But before we do that, somebody on this show has to give J.J. Piccolo his flowers. I will do so. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold, and for those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, you know all about our friends over at Centric and how you can find a brand new career in as little as 4 months. But did you also know that you can work with your current schedule with some of their flex options for learning online or in person?
Maybe you're just getting out of high school and want to start that career now and that career path now, or you're looking for that change with better advancement, better pay. Centric can do those things for you.
They have plenty of funding options like the GI Bill. You just got to go talk to our friend Russ at Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
We interrupt with a special report from the Missouri Lottery. With a new millionaire every 8.1 days last year, there's no shortage of Missouri Lottery winners. However, there is currently a shortage of confetti. This may impact all confetti-related activities, hullabaloos, whoop-de-doos, jamborees, shebangs, and any and all festive goings-ons. Rest assured, Missouri Lottery winners will receive a single confetto with every big win for the time being. We apologize for the shortage, but not the winning. Thus concludes this report from the Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome. Play responsibly.
Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and you don't have to keep living with all of that joint pain. Real lasting relief is possible with help from QC Kinetics. People here are getting their lives back, getting their mobility back, thanks to QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in cellular therapies that can revitalize your joints. And I'm talking about advanced regenerative medicine, using your own body's healing properties, highly concentrated and carefully placed in your achy joint. Back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain. These are cutting-edge treatments that require no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's a quick in-office procedure that can get you moving again. You owe it to yourself to learn more. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Playoff baseball is here, and BetMGM is bringing the energy with the first ever bullpen jackpot. That's right. Opt into BetMGM's exclusive bullpen jackpot. Place a player to hit a home run bet for any MLB playoff game this fall, and you could win a share of $50,000 in bonus bets if your player homers into the bullpen. That's not all. This offer lasts throughout the playoffs and right into the World Series. Plus, keep your eyes on the bullpen. It'll be branded with BetMGM across all MLB ballparks every step of the way. Don't miss out. The bullpen jackpot could be your ticket to $50,000 in bonus bets. So bet your home run prop bets on BetMGM. Watch the bullpen and cash in if a player lands a home run where it counts. Only with the sportsbook born in Vegas. BetMGM. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. New and existing customer offer. Subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
You've been waiting, and now is the time. Golden Oak Lending has fixed mortgage rates at 4.875%. But don't wait. This rate won't last forever. Call today and take advantage of our low 4.875 fixed rate. Call 913-890-GOLD. That's 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, join my blue.
5.784 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and I'm here with my friend Brian Manning of Manning Roofing. Why is it important to deal with a roofing company that understands the insurance side of the business?
First of all, you want to make sure that you get all of the damage covered at your property. We have a very experienced team that's licensed and insured. We do roofs, windows, siding, and gutters, along with some interior trades, and we can make sure that all of the damage is taken care of.
I've used Manning Roofing at my house, so set up your appointment today at ManningGC.com or 816-448-8208. The choice is simple. It's Manning Roofing.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real-person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands. at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
This afternoon, expect sunny skies with a high of 77.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Robert Half's recruiting professionals use their award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. Learn more at roberthalf.com/talent today.
Chiefs fans, it's Rashee Rice. Welcome to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
You know what? We spend a lot of time giving members of the Chiefs their flowers, and it is certainly well-deserved for the success that they have had. But we need to also acknowledge the job that J.J. Picollo has done, not just in the offseason, bringing in Michael Waka, bringing in Seth Lugo, some of the other moves that they've made, the Cole Reagans trade, that was a deal at the deadline. You were just trying to get back a prospect. You then got an ace in return. So J.J. Picollo certainly gets a lot of credit. These players weren't on the team on the 4th of July and have made play a critical role in this team's success today. Tommy Pham was a late pickup. Talk about not on the team 4th of July. He went on the team Labor Day. Tommy Pham has 2 RBIs in this series against the New York Yankees. Yuri Gurriel, who I understand gets a little bit of criticism at times. Why are the Royals having a 40-year-old designated hitter as their power hitter whenever Vinny was out? Gurriel's actually been kind of good for the Royals since he's been here. Certainly needed. Lucas Erceg, that was their big trade that they made at the deadline to go acquire a guy who you thought could be that bridge guy. I would say that Erceg has been even better than expected. The process of building this playoff team did not just happen in December and January. This was a process that was evolving as the season went on and as you could see various needs for the Kansas City Royals. When the Royals needed bullpen help at the deadline, the Royals were pretty aggressive in trying to go meet that need. Whenever Vinny Pasquantino went out with an injury and we were unsure if Vinny was going to be able to come back, they then go out and make a couple of different moves. Now, they all work to varying degrees. Picking up Grossman hasn't really worked out that well for the Royals. Picking up Tommy Pham did. Picking up Gurriel has also helped this team. Making the trade for Lucas Erceg has been good. J.J. Picollo continues to deserve a lot of credit, Rob, for how he built this roster and putting them in the position. And all you want is your management to try to seize opportunities. And you remember, you were here. People didn't really want them to put a lot of chips in the middle of the table. Hey, why mortgage the future? They were able to improve their roster and get better despite not leveraging really any major future assets for this team. That if you want to go out and make a move in the offseason to try to compete for the division, it can be there. If you want to be aggressive in the trade market, you still have your assets to do that. For the Royals to pick up 4 or 5 players that are now a part of your 26-man roster for the postseason and are helping you win road games at Yankee Stadium, and you didn't really give up a whole lot to acquire those players, that is a testament to your general manager and the staff that he's put together behind the scenes.
Isn't what you just laid out the definition of being transactional? Which is what everyone was begging the Royals to become. Like, Dayton Moore has a World Series, and he'll be in the Royals Ring of Honor, Hall of Fame, whatever one day. But toward the end of the Dayton Moore era, one of the chief complaints was he just stuck it out with his guys and was not transactional. Since J.J. Picollo has taken over, he has been transactional. And not every swing is a hit. But when he does hit, he hits big, and you're seeing it on the field. Tommy Pham, good move. You're right. Robbie Grossman didn't work, but take the shot. No harm, no foul. Worst case is you take a flyer on a guy who doesn't add anything for the postseason, which is what happened. Lucas Erceg, incredible trade. You could argue the bullpen started to turn around, and we all gained confidence in it with that one move. Hunter Harvey on paper looked good. It didn't really work out so far. but you keep taking swings. We talk about it all the time across the parking lot when it's Brett Veach. The Veach special. Oh, Veach will take a shot. Veach is always working the phones, and Veach is always doing this, that, and the other. J.J. Picollo, since becoming the GM of the Royals, is doing the same thing. He just doesn't have the hardware yet, but the path he's on, there is a chance he has hardware one day because you got to take a shot, and sometimes you hit big. Dayton Moore stood pat far too often.
And I would guess that there have been also other opportunities, like when you're going through and you're talking about, a lot of it has just been volume, sheer volume of it. The Royals didn't just take 1 or 2 swings over the course of the season. The Royals have taken like 8 swings over the course of the season. And if you connect on a Michael Lorenzen, that's great. If you hit on a Harvey, that's great. Paul DeJong, you remember there was a time there, Paul DeJong was very important to what this Royals lineup was doing with his power, and they kind of needed it for a time. Now, he hasn't really stepped up big in the postseason. We'll see if his number gets called. Right now, you're kind of leaning on Michael Massey. He's been very big for this team. Tommy Pham was really good yesterday. Miguel Garcia had 4 hits yesterday. You and I talked about outside of that big 3. Right now, you're not getting anything from Bobby Witt Jr. You don't expect that to continue for too much longer. But Salvador Perez hits a home run yesterday. This team, you obviously need your core. You need your stars. But you're also going to need those secondary pieces. You're going to need Tommy Pham to continue to be a big producer, Miguel Garcia, Michael Massey. If this team is going to knock off the New York Yankees, you're going to continue to need those secondary players to make big plays in big spots.
I would argue that outside of the Salvador Perez home run, the Royals are 1-1 right now on the backs of their role players. Tommy Pham has been good in both games. Garrett Hampson has been really good in both games. I know Miguel Garcia before the season was one of the young guys we thought, oh, he can be like a pillar for this organization. He wasn't this year, but he's been good in the postseason. Michael Massey, he may be working himself into calling it the Big 4 with how good he's been in the postseason. He's been a guy that you trust. Like most everyone in the bullpen, not named Urseg, you would have said, hey, that's a role play. Like, Angel Zerpa is not a guy that anyone talks about. He was really good yesterday. Like, championships are won by stars, and I get that, but every championship team has 2 or 3 moments where you go, oh, the role player stepped up. If we sat down and waxed poetically about the Chiefs Super Bowls, we could easily find the role players. The Royals right now are getting their role players to step up in those big moments, which is key to becoming something more than just a playoff team.
I want to play this audio for you guys really quickly, and we'll get to Complain Dot coming up at the top of the hour. I know that some of you think that this show was hard on fans when it came to attendance. You want to know why I was so hard at fans is because I know what you're capable of. I know that you guys are an A-plus fan base, and you were turning in C- work for most of the year. Tomorrow is going to be special at Kaufman Stadium, and it's going to be special because of you. I'm not the only one that thinks this. So does J.J. Picollo. Listen to this.
Well, I think it's great. We went to Atlanta. There was a great atmosphere there. Baltimore is a great atmosphere. You come here, it's a great atmosphere. So we've played with, as the opposition in these tough places to play. Now you go home, and the momentum just swings towards you. But all of the guys that have come through our system, they've seen all the highlights. A lot of, our baseball 101 classes or plays we've picked out of the playoff runs we were in 14 and 15. So they've seen the hype and the emotion and the stadium turn blue. So they have not lived it, but I think they're looking forward to seeing it because they've heard all about it.
We can admit, Royals fans, you guys have been turned off for most of the season. Man, but when you guys buy in, don't you see how much fun it can be? When you start believing in the Royals and buying into the Royals, it's fun again, isn't it? I know you've been into it. We'll see the television numbers tomorrow. We're going to see the crowd. This is how it could have been all season. It could have been like this the whole year. It didn't have to just be like this the last 2 weeks of the season. See what happens when everybody is on the same page? So we're going to keep challenging you. We're going to challenge you again next year. But tomorrow's going to be great. It's going to be special. It's going to be like old times. It just took all of us buying into the Royals at the exact same time. Look at what's happened when we've all bought in. Magic could potentially happen. The Royals have a legitimate chance of going to the World Series. I'm not saying they will. They have a legitimate chance. Teams that go home tied 1-1. They win 66% of their series. And I will take my chances against any of the other teams that they played 13 times over the course of the season. Man, the Royals really got a shot to do this thing. Coming up at the top of the hour, it cannot be all sunshine and unicorns on this show. I have to find something to complain about. But some of my complaints are the same things that you're complaining about. I'll explain. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Something big is happening at Hy-Vee. We've just lowered thousands and thousands of prices on thousands and thousands of items in every aisle and in every department. Online, too. And on many of your favorite products, we've even matched prices with some of the biggest discount stores in the country. Because we get it, times are still tough. So we'll continue to work hard to bring you new lower prices on thousands of items. Things are looking different at Hy-Vee. Come see for yourself.
It's the best time of the year. It's tailgate season, and I'm going to be spending a lot of time at Hy-Vee's Wine and Spirits department. This week is the perfect time to stock up and save on wine, beer, seltzer, and spirits during Hy-Vee's Thirsty Thursday sale. This Thursday only, get a 50-cent Fuel Saver discount for every $50 you spend on beer, wine, hard seltzer, and spirits. I love seeing the price at the pump go down when I use my Fuel Saver card. Don't miss Thirsty Thursdays only at Hy-Vee. Offer valid at Kansas City area Missouri stores only.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Calling all Kansas City football fans to downtown Las Vegas. Join us at Circa Resort and Casino this October for the ultimate game day getaway. Huddle up at Overhang Bar with 96.5 The Fan for our pregame tailgates on Fridays with drink specials and giveaways, including a pair of game day tickets. Then catch all the action at the world's largest sportsbook or lounge in the center of it all at America's favorite place to watch football, Stadium Swim, featuring 6 pools and a massive 143-foot screen. To book your Huddle Up experience, visit CircaLasVegas.com today.
And Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Truck drivers, the holiday rush is here. Now is the perfect time to become a Schneider driver. As an industry leader trusted by shippers nationwide, Schneider has the freight to keep you moving this holiday season and all year long. As a Schneider driver, you'll enjoy award-winning benefits, reliable equipment, a pay package that rewards your hard work, and so much more. Don't let the holiday rush pass you by. Search jobs near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth. Why not start today?
Tune in this week to Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti, where they break down all the headlines in the NFL, presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com and get a great deal on their iPhone 16 Pro.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
Our Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's.
Right now, buy one, get one free on Valspar Reserve or HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Infinity or Showcase Interior Paint via Lowe's gift card rebate. Whether you're painting one accent wall or want to freshen up a whole room, we've got you covered. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details. Valid through 9/4.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Chiefs football. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. He goes by many names. Carrington, Charger Dot, Champion Dot. But now, it's time for him to ruin your day with the name that fits him best. Contrarian Dot.
Bigger buzzkill than Buzz Killington.
All right. You guys know that this show, it's not built to just be happy all the time. I know that you guys just want me to just give you stats about how Travis Kelce's the greatest and how Patrick Mahomes is the best and how the Royals are going to win every single game. I don't want to do that. Sometimes I got to complain because that is the foundation of sports talk radio. It makes me happy. I love to be a hater sometimes. I really do. It warms my soul. I'm going to give you 3 things today, and then I'll go back to being positive. We got Jacob Milham coming up in just a bit. Mitch Holthus to be on the show. I'll go back to my usual cheerful self, but let me get back in my bag a little bit. This is the first analogy I'll make for today's show. Some of you get on social media and you talk about how much you love Wendy's from back in the day. Man, that yellow box Wendy's was the best. Or maybe you love the Pizza Hut buffet. You remember that? The little red cups, your mom would take you, your grandparents would take you, and man, you just loved going to the Pizza Hut buffet. If you're my age, you have 90s nostalgia. Everything was better in the 90s. No, you were just a kid. So it was new to you. Of course you loved Wendy's and fast food pizza when you were 9 years old. It's the same pizza now. You're 40. You've now gone around the world and the country and eaten in all these other places. So that's why your taste buds have changed, because you're a different person. I give you that analogy because there is something that we used to love in the 90s, but I'm just not sure it hits the same. Exhibit A.
Hit to short. Witt gets the force. Can they turn 2? Yes, they can, and it's just the point we were making. It's not Giancarlo's fault. A near base hit, couldn't beat it out at the other end, turns into a double play.
Bob Costas is maybe the greatest sports broadcaster ever. He's in that conversation. John Madden, Howard Cosell, Bob Costas, Vin Scully. I mean, people that do this for a living at the absolute highest of levels. Bob Costas is in that conversation. Bob Costas is cooked, my friends. He's cooked. I'm sorry, he's bad. I say that with the utmost respect for Bob Costas and everything that he accomplished. The reason people love NBA on NBC so much is because of Bob Costas. It's almost unlistenable. And Rob, you know, I'm not really complaining about the announcer guy. I'm really not, for the most part. It is noticeable how bad it is during the broadcast. I know that some of you guys hate Joe Buck for various different reasons. Joe Buck is light years better at baseball games at this point than Bob Costas was. Bob Costas was great in 1995. He really was. Bob Costas was great in 2003. 2024, Bob Costas, no thank you. I can't do it. No, I can't do it with Bob Costas. I'm sorry. This might have to be a mute the TV situation for me. Maybe I'm the only one that feels this way. 913-586-7965. He sounded disappointed that Stanton hit into a double play yesterday. I thought that was the local broadcast, not the national one. He did that another time. He talked about how the Yankees pitcher Rodon, how he had no hit stuff. He gave up a hit in the same at bat. Bob Costas has been bad. He's been bad. It's okay. All things have an end. You know what I don't want anymore? I don't want a brand new Ludacris album. I'm okay. I don't want any new songs from Nelly. You were really great when you were hot, when you were on top. I don't need any more of your music. That's kind of how I feel about Bob Costas. Bob, go back to the Olympics. You're great on the Olympics. If you want to sit in the booth and tell me about the javelin, oh my goodness, I could listen to it. If you want to do the track and field, please stay away from baseball. Don't do it again. I can't do it anymore. No, I can't do it. This is where I get all my complaints out for the day, maybe for the rest of the week, and I promise you I'll be positive the rest of the way. Complaint number 2. Brett Veach, I know you're probably off enjoying your bye week. I know you are. And I hope you enjoy your bye week. You've earned it. Your team is 5-0. You guys are the best team in the league. You have managed the injuries in this roster exceptionally well. I just want you, before you leave, because you might still be in Kansas City, and I know you guys have people monitoring this show. That is not an opinion. That is a fact. I know. So whoever job it is over at Chiefs PR to listen to the show, I want you to pass this message along to Brett Veach. Please get Sky Moore away from us. Please get Sky Moore away from us. Did you guys know that Sky Moore was the only Chiefs wide receiver yesterday to not run a route and still had a drop yesterday? You know how hard that is? I'm serious. Do you know how difficult it is to struggle catching the ball in a day in which you did not run a route? That happened yesterday for Sky Moore. Now, I understand. I get it. I really do get it. At some point, you have had to wear something that your wife got you as a gift, and you were wearing it solely because she got it for you, and you don't want to cause any waves. You don't want her to be mad. You don't want her to be upset, but you hate that tie. You hate it. So you wear it for a couple of times, and then magically it gets lost. I want Sky Moore to be that tie. I want him to magically get lost off the team. Please, he doesn't have a role on this team. He doesn't help you on offense. He doesn't help you on special teams. He is a negative for this team. He's not even a neutral. He's a negative for this team. A negative. I'm not going to complain about too much. I just got to get this one segment out of my heart. I got to get my thoughts on Bob Costas. Bob, you were the absolute best. My brother, you're done. Sky Moore, please go away. That's all I want. I don't want anything else with this Chiefs team. I really don't. I won't complain about another thing with the Chiefs the rest of the season. I'll apologize for other stances, even if I'm not sorry. I don't want to see you put Sky Moore out there again. In the last 2 weeks, he dropped the third down, and you tried to put him on kickoffs. Like, man, how bad could you possibly mess this up? He almost messed that up too yesterday. That's all I got. I have more things to complain about, Rob, but you know what? Keeping it at 2, that feels fair to me. I gave you one Chiefs complaint and one Royals complaint on the rest of the day. We can get back to positive things, talking about the Chiefs being 5-0 and the Royals being 1-1 heading back to Kaufman Stadium. There are a lot of good things to talk about. I couldn't hold my Bob Costas thoughts. I couldn't hold them for any longer. I'm telling you, he's bad.
I don't understand, and you're right, maybe it's just 90s nostalgia. But for a guy that we all consider one of the best broadcasters in the industry, how is he so bad at this? Like, there are other broadcasters who are like, I think he's okay, or, you know, people have varying opinions. Bob Costas is held in the highest regard, and that entire game, it seemed like he must have been watching the game for FanDuel, because every time the Royals did something good, it was like ho-hum. Then the Yankees had a pop fly, and it was like, go, get out, go. I mean, it was more homer calls than John Sterling. What was going on?
It was bad. No, it was bad. It really was bad yesterday. I'm sorry. It's bad. It's bad. Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, I agree with everything you're saying, but not Pizza Hut. It's just, it's not the same. I'm telling you, Pizza Hut is the same. You're just 42 years old now. Pizza Hut's the same. Wendy's is the same. You just have fond memories of it because you were 11 years old and your parents would take you and they would let you eat all the breadsticks and cinnamon rolls. It's the same. Bob Costas is probably the same. He still sounds the same. He's still sharp. He still has the story. He still has the stats. It does not sound good anymore. I want to remember Bob up there with the legends, with the greats. That's how I want to remember him. Now he's like one of those wrestlers that, bro, retire. I don't want to watch The Undertaker wrestle anymore. You're too old to be wrestling. I want you to sit back and be Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't want to see you be Sting trying to wrestle in ECW. Stop. Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, Bob Costas is as bad as Red Lobster. All right, that's what gets you blocked on this show. Come on, see what I mean? We were bonding together, and now you take it one step too far. You guys do that every time.
Two things that are nearly broke. Bob Costas, Red Lobster.
You guys do that every time. I'm sick of it. There's no reason to do this. Can I get out one more complaint before we get out of here?
Like a minute left in the segment. Fire away.
The refs are not picking on Jawan Taylor. He's just going to commit penalties. It's that simple. I don't even know if that's a complaint more than just an observation. I know for about a month there, y'all was real, man, the refs just keep picking on him. It's not fair. No, they are not picking on Jawan Taylor. He just be moving early, real early. Like often. He moves earlier than any offensive lineman in the league. He does that routinely. They are not picking on Jawan Taylor. He's got a problem, is what he has. He has an absolute problem. All right, coming up on the other side, we'll get back to very positive things. Jacob Milham is going to join us with Kings of Kaufman. We're going to continue to get you ready for the Royals' return to Kansas. It's been a while since the Royals have been to Kansas City. They got Game 3 tomorrow. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Let's talk about the buying experience at Lewisburg Ford.
It's the best anywhere. Just ask all our customers, Toby. It is hands down the best experience you can have buying a new car. We have the no-hassle Toby Tobin price that we've had for 35 years now. Nobody else can say that. We've been saving Kansas City thousands and thousands of dollars for a lot of years.
I have been buying Ford cars and trucks from Lewisburg Ford for over 30 years, and I know personally this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck. Great prices, but there's a whole lot more than that.
It doesn't just stop at price, Toby.
No.
There's other factors to this equation, and it's trade-in allowance, financing, and the experience of how knowledgeable the people are that you're dealing with. And we surpass everybody in all those areas. We always have. We always will. That's why calling us is important.
Do you have that new pickup?
Absolutely. And it's dynamite.
Okay. Lewisburg Ford is your best place to buy a Ford car or truck. What's your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Lewisburg Ford or LewisburgFord.com.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly. Coming up Sunday, Week 6 in pro football, Baltimore against Washington. Awesome game with two electric quarterbacks. Baltimore, a 6.5-point home favorite, total 52.5. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't bet the under in this game with these two offenses, but as far as the point spread goes, I like Washington to cover the spread. Washington's offense is way too good to be this big of an underdog, and maybe Baltimore wins the game. Baltimore is a better and more complete team, but as far as cover a number that big, I don't like it. So give me Washington plus 6.5 Sunday in Baltimore. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Noticed areas inside your home that could be a sign you need a roof replacement? Then make Century Roofing your first call. We have extended our free material upgrade sale on all roof replacements. Get a Class 3 or 4 impact-resistant shingle for the same price of the standard 30-year or premium shingle. Save on your insurance premium and see why we continue to be voted best of Johnson County. Trust the pillars of strength with KC-based and female-owned Century Roofing, KC.com.
Century Roofing, trust the pillars of strength.
Pizza Taccio, the king of Kansas City's New York-style pizza scene, has taken KC by storm. Pizza Taccio uses the highest quality local and organic ingredients, hand-tossed by KC natives. Oh, and did I mention they were voted KC's favorite pizza? Place your order now for pickup or delivery at pizzataccio.com, or stop in for a slice at any of their locations in OP, Midtown, North KC, St. Joe, Waldo, or Belton, and dive into the taste that's conquering Kansas City. one slice at a time.
We hear a lot from our patients after we've successfully treated their erectile dysfunction. But one thing we hear the most is, why didn't I get treated sooner? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you're suffering with ED and all the emotional and relationship problems it causes, don't wait. Call us today. ED is simply a medical condition like any other. And for most men, it's fully treatable, which means you can get your sex life back. And I'm not talking about sex that's just okay, by the way. I'm talking about good sex with the ability to enjoy intimacy without the anxiety that affects so many men who have ED. In fact, you might find you're performing like you haven't in years. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated thousands of men with protocols that are successful in well over 90% of cases. And we have a variety of treatments and treatment combinations so you can get the one that's right for you. So stop waiting and call us. Your first visit includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real-person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Autumn is in the air, and like the leaves, prices are falling at Harbor Freight's parking lot sale this weekend. We've got tons of products on sale, like 3-ton jacks for under $100, 5,000-watt generators, $250 off, plus dual bevel miter saws at nearly half the price of the competition. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until 10/13/24 while supplies last, so hurry in, limitations apply.
Your coworkers might annoy you, but we promise we won't. Download the free Odyssey app and you can listen to us at work while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Tune in late? You can rewind your favorite live shows to catch what you missed. And with Chapters, easily jump to the topics that you care about most, like the latest updates from your team. Your sports talk, your way. The Odyssey app. Download it today.
Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest, we believe.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Northbound 635, looking at an 11-minute drive from Georgia Avenue to KCI. Eastbound 70, 13 minutes from the Paseo to 470. I'm Lori Pearson for 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Kane is in the building.
Welcome to your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by one of our new friends of the show, Jacob Milham. He is on the show. He does great work with Kings of Kaufman. I told you guys that he will be on the show every single week until baseball season is over. Well, you know what, man? Baseball season might be lasting a couple more weeks. Jacob, how you doing today, my man?
I am doing all right. I'm happy that I'm still here on the show because that means what we all want to happen is true. The Kansas City Royals are still playing some ball, baby.
Jacob, let's just start with this. I kind of want to recap these first two games before we move forward for the next two games. How would you describe the first two games? Two very different games. These two teams maybe feel a little bit more even than the paper would suggest.
And I think that's the point that has been validated, that Kansas City Royals fans believed in, but maybe not baseball fans at large believed in. This opening to the series did not feel like a David versus Goliath matchup. Okay, this felt like two heavyweights going at it in the ring. That's how the first game felt, even though it didn't go the Kansas City Royals' way. It still had that feeling. And then, yesterday, the Royals come out on top, but it was still a very competitive game. And I just have to feel very optimistic about the Royals right now because they're not shying away from the big bad New York Yankees. Okay, they are rising to the occasion, even if the players that we expect to be doing better aren't doing as great as we thought.
What has happened so far in this series that has gone exactly how you expected it to go? What in this series has gone maybe opposite? And if you can, let's at least remove the fact that Bobby Witt Jr. doesn't have a hit here. Let's talk about him separately because that is the thing that has stood out. He has never gone 0 for 5 in back-to-back games. He has done that so far in the first 2 games of the series. What else outside of that has maybe caught you by surprise in the first 18 innings of this series?
I would say, man, I have to say the base running coming back, right? Because this is, Burns talked about it, I don't know how many times, about that is one of the strengths of this team, right? But it got a little quiet there as the season wound down. And now you have guys really just manufacturing runs on the base pass. Maikel Garcia already having 3 stolen bases. Tommy Pham, I mean, he probably doesn't come around to score unless he steals second, ahead of Garrett Hampson driving him in last night. So I think that has exceeded my expectations at least, and I really don't want to draw conclusions on the bullpen yet because they had the first game was not great, but last night it was much better. That was much more of what we expected and what we saw against the Baltimore Orioles. Even if it wasn't perfect, it was still very, very good. And, I mean, just the starting pitching. I know Cole Reagans wasn't great last night. He was pretty erratic, one of his more erratic starts in 2024. But at the end of the day, go look at the box score. He only allowed 1 run in his 4 innings of work, and that is just fine by me. So it hasn't been perfect, but at the end of the day, the Kansas City Royals are basically coming to Kaufman Stadium in a best-of-3 series. I think that is a very, very good spot to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that yesterday the Royals played their formula. If the Royals are going to play a lot of 7-5, 8-5 games, I think the advantage is going to be with the other team. Most of the remaining teams just have more firepower up and down their lineup than what the Royals have. But yesterday felt like the Royals kind of getting back to what they are. They took advantage in 1/2 inning. They got great starting pitching, and their bullpen held on the rest of the way. That's how this team is going to be able to pull off this upset and continue a deeper run by continuing to do what they did. I mean, that was basically the same formula that we saw against the Orioles as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking about this last night following the game. This was very much what we saw earlier on in the season from the Kansas City Royals. Okay, it was a good performance at the plate for the batters, but not a resounding number of runs on the scoreboard. 4 runs is above average, sure, but not by a whole lot. But the pitching, once again, is what kept them in the driver's seat. And I said last night was competitive. It was. But if you go back and rewatch it, you see that the Kansas City Royals were in the driver's seat for much of this game thanks to that 4-run inning. So maybe they got settled back down. I don't know. I don't think that they're scared playing in Yankee Stadium. I really don't. But I am very hopeful about what a return to Kaufman Stadium means for these guys.
Right now, we're talking to our guy, Jacob Milham, going through the American League Divisional Series. Jacob, am I oversimplifying this? But it feels to me, whichever team can get, whether it's Bobby Witt Jr. going or Aaron Judge, that's going to be the difference in this series. Which team can get their superstar going and carry them to the next round?
I was just thinking the same thing because this, and we will call it what you will. I'll call it a narrative. The Aaron Judge in the postseason narrative is getting a lot of play right now because 1, you're in New York, and 2, because it's kind of true. But Bobby Witt Jr. hasn't really been holding up his end of the bargain. I mean, 3 strikeouts last night, 0 for 10 in his first 10 games, like you brought up earlier on. Just both of them are not helping their team right now at the plate, right? And just imagine what a good night from Bobby Witt Jr. could mean for the Royals in Kaufman Stadium if Aaron Judge continues to struggle. That could be the edge that takes a close game to a resounding victory. And if that happens across an entire season, like, look out, because, I mean, when you have Garrett Hampson out there being one of the MVP candidates of Game 2, that means these boys are doing some great work at the plate.
Jacob, what are you noticing from Bobby Witt Jr.? He's obviously a player that you expect at some point to turn things around. Same thing with Aaron Judge. We're talking about the 2 best players in the American League. It's usually just, if there's one thing that you can rely on with this offense, is that Bobby Witt Jr. is going to get a hit or two. He has gotten off to an incredibly slow start. Is that just baseball is happening, or are you seeing something else?
The only thing that I'm seeing right now is ever since he got that strikeout looking in Game 1, he has been pressing. That is what his body language tells me through the screen. I'm not saying that I know Bobby Witt Jr. personally or anything like that. I'm not inside his head, but that is what his body language is telling me. Now, he is the MVP runner-up favorite for a reason. I do think that the scales will balance, and he's going to have a very drastic swing back to that Bobby baseball form that we have expected, especially considering that back-to-back 0 for 5 performances is just so far outside of what we have grown to expect from him. I'm hopeful about him coming back to Kaufman, maybe getting into routine, maybe just the familiarity of home, but also the fans, all right? These guys have talked about how much they love and hear you fans in the stands. And an electric Kaufman Stadium is going to bring out the best in any Royals ball player.
Right now, we're talking to Jacob Milham. He does fantastic work for Kings of Kaufman. He joins us every week as we are getting you ready for games 3 and 4 of the ALDS at Kaufman Stadium. Jacob, maybe you can help me with something because I'm confused about something. You seem like a smart individual, and you might have the answer. Can you tell me why Jazz Chisholm would piss off Royals fans? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, no one was thinking about you. Nobody was talking about you. Nobody was bothering you. And now you are going to get the loudest boos when you step up to the plate on Wednesday night. You didn't have to do that.
Oh, no. He's going to get that good old Robinson Cano treatment in Kaufman Stadium. You better believe that. Listen, it's not like the Royals were talking any smack. It just came unprompted. So, listen, if that's how he feels, that's how he feels. But we have seen what bulletin board material does for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's probably going to have the same dang effect on the Kansas City Royals. So, hey, power to him. And we saw how folks talking so much about how good Carlos Rodon was doing in Game 2. They were all singing his praises after the first inning. Well, what happened after that? After all that, the Royals still won. So he can talk what he wants to, but it all only matters if they win and move on to the ALCS.
Jacob, we just talked about this. This show, only functions if I complain about something. I just had a small, teeny tiny complaint about games 1 and games 2. I'm not the only one that hears what Bob Costas. He doesn't have the fastball anymore, does he?
No, he does not.
No, it's obvious. You can hear it. Get Bob Costas off these calls.
Yeah, and I wasn't singing his praises, right? But I was like, oh, it's Bob Costas, all right? Like that's not a bad guy to have in the booth. I took it all back after the first inning of Game 2. I took it back immediately. I put on our guys. All right, I put on Jake. I put on Denny. I put on Steve. I had to, and I had MLB Game Day pulled up on my computer because I just could not listen to Darling and Costas anymore. This is an absurdity, and it's a consensus issue, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's where I was. I was starting to think that maybe I was the only one that was feeling that way. You know how, like, you don't want to say anything against the GOAT because everybody has the utmost respect for Bob Costas. Like, I think Bob Costas is one of the best people to do this. I just don't want to hear him call any more Royals games.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I'm not saying throw his career or his legacy in the trash or nothing like that. He just doesn't have the fastball anymore. Like you said, he doesn't have the fastball. He doesn't have the command, the control, nothing right now. Okay, get this man off the broadcast.
Jacob, it sounds like you agree from something you said earlier. I think you have to consider Kansas City the favorites now at this point. They certainly have the advantage. Maybe favorites is a little bit too strong of a term, but we had a stat earlier. If you look at series that are tied 1-1 and now we are heading to the road team. So for games 3 and games 4, those teams win almost 70%. They're winning 66% of those series. I think that could be enough. You said it perfectly. This is now a 3-game series, and the Royals have 2 of the remaining 3 games at home. You get Lugo and you get Cole Reagans in 2 of those 3 games. Right now, I think you have to consider the Royals to be a slight favorite in this series.
Yeah, I would as well. If you go and put money on it, I would expect them to be the favorites right now to win the ALDS. And I think that really boils down to the starting pitching edge. Okay, I'm not saying the Yankees had it overall, but their 2 strongest starters had a 1-1 result against the Kansas City Royals. So that edge continues to stay with the Royals right now. Coming to Kaufman Stadium, you don't get that benefit of the short porch anymore. We'll see how that plays into things. I know it hurts the Royals too, but I think it helped the Yankees quite a bit against the Royals in this series. So I would put them down as the favorites if I was setting the book.
Jacob, as we get ready for Game 3, where do you see the Royals having the advantage tomorrow night? Where do you see the Yankees having the advantage tomorrow night?
Man, tomorrow night, number one, I mean, you got Seth Lugo versus Clark Schmidt. Okay, I've seen people pointing out that Clark Schmidt is a solid starter. I think he's a slightly below average starter who is going to get punished a little bit in his first postseason start in Kansas City. I think that is the clear edge. I also think that the Kansas City Royals will have a big fielding edge in Kaufman Stadium. You know, it is Aaron Judge is an incredible athlete, but can he cover the same amount of ground in massive Kaufman Stadium? I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to say that they have the advantage at the plate, especially when you look at Judge, Stanton, Austin Wells has been an absolute Royals killer this year. I don't want to say they have the edge at the plate. However, I do think that their play style at the plate has the edge. We'll get extra bases, but we'll go gap to gap, and then every now and then we'll put one over the fence. So I don't know. Just you look at it on paper and you look at the history, and I don't see a spot right now where the Kansas City Royals have a clear deficit between them and the New York Yankees as the series enters games 3.
Yeah, I'm looking at this divisional series as a whole, and every one of the series right now are tied at 1 apiece. Like, I came into this thinking there were some really good storylines. You got the Dodgers and the Padres, 2 teams that seem to hate each other. It feels like a complete coin flip in the Mets series against the Phillies. And in this one, this was supposed to be the David versus Goliath. I think we're looking at it where Tim Kirchin said this before the postseason, how wide open it was, and there wasn't a favorite. That has seen itself play itself out in the first 2 games of all of these series.
It absolutely has. And, you know, this was the first season in who knows how long since we've had a 100-game winner. Okay, there are gaps in Major League Baseball. I mean, just look at the gap between the Dodgers and the White Sox, right? But the gaps in between the postseason teams are incredibly small right now. So there's no gimme series anymore, right? I think that's what the Baltimore Orioles fans were expecting when the Royals went into Camden Yards. Like, okay, well, we'll go catch the game in this weekend, maybe when the Orioles are facing off against whoever they play. I just don't see a gimme series right now, and the Kansas City Royals are holding up their end of the bargain in that.
That is our guy, Jacob Milham, joining us on the show. He does fantastic work with Kings of Kaufman. He is going to join us every week until baseball season is over. Jacob, great stuff, man. We appreciate your time. Thanks for hopping on today.
Thank you, C-Dot. Talk to you next week.
Absolutely. That is Jacob Milham joining us on the show. Great stuff by him, getting you ready for Game 3 between the Royals and the Yankees. It is a little bit surprising, given the star power of the top two guys, whether it's Aaron Judge, who was going to win American League MVP, whether it's Bobby Witt Jr., who is probably going to finish second in the MVP. This series, both teams have gotten almost nothing from those individuals. Bobby Witt Jr. doesn't have a hit. Aaron Judge just has one hit in this series. Neither one of them has driven in a run. Neither one of them has been a factor. I know this is usually a football thing that we say or a basketball thing that we say, Rob, but it does kind of feel like whichever team can get their superstar going and have a big hit, a big home run, a big momentum shifting play, it does feel like that's going to be the thing that tilts it in either team's favor. We talked about this a lot heading into it, giving yourself a puncher's chance. The Royals' chance was with Cole Reagans on the mound. They got a chance where they have the clear pitching advantage tomorrow with Seth Lugo going on the mound against a guy who is making his first career start. You just heard from Milham. He thinks he's a below average starter in Major League Baseball. And if this series ends up going back to New York, which I find it hard to believe that either team are going to sweep the next 2 days, whether it's the Royals or the Yankees, these two teams just feel very even to me. I don't know if the Royals are going to win 3 straight games against the Yankees. I also don't think the Yankees are coming into Kansas City and winning both of those games either. This feels to me like a series that is going to go 5. If you're going to tell me that it is a 1-game scenario to advance to the American League Championship Series and Cole Reagans is going in there, knowing how this Yankees team has struggled against left-handed starters, I think you take that opportunity.
The saying in baseball is momentum is only as good as your next day's starter. Jacob Milham said it perfectly. This is now a best-of-3 series.
Yeah.
Who can win 2 of 3? You take Cole Reagans in Game 5 against Carlos Rodon again, or maybe they, try someone new if they're the Yankees, but you take Cole Reagans, especially considering I could easily make the argument on the show today, Carrington, that Reagans wasn't tip-top last night and still was very good. You would then take the guy that we were talking about at the All-Star break of, hey, why isn't he getting Cy Young consideration and Seth Lugo? You absolutely take those 2 guys as the starting pitcher advantage. You probably lose the pitcher advantage in the Garrett Cole game, but in a best-of-3 series, when your starter's better in 2 of the games, you have to feel a level of confidence. And then I was unaware of this because there's a lot more names in the Yankees lineup than the Royals lineup, but that lineup seems very dependent on Aaron Judge. And Aaron Judge flailing around has made their offense go from, oh, it's scary, something me, you, Vern, Sean Marash, everyone talked about on the show, hey, the Yankee lineup is deep. The Yankee lineup has depth. Hey, the Yankee lineup has this, that, and the other. Well, with Aaron Judge just doing a whole lot of flailing up there, their lineup doesn't look as scary. Giancarlo Stanton can't run. Gleyber Torres is just okay. It's basically just Soto right now that you fear. And if you can get Bobby Witt going and you have the pitching advantage, you have to feel supremely confident you could make it to the ALCS.
Yeah, right now, if you look at the gambling markets, the Royals, I think they're plus 135 to win the series. You also can get them at plus money tomorrow to win the game. I'm taking the Royals tomorrow plus money just because you're going to give me the team that has the pitching advantage at home. I think you got to roll with that scenario if you're someone that likes to gamble on these games. All right, Rob. I believe that I have come up with the perfect Royals Price is Right. Now, we're probably not going to play how many people are going to Kaufman Stadium. It's going to be sold out. It's going to be a lot of people. We're going to play a slightly different version. I'm not going to tell you, but I do want to give you a chance to win a pizza. 913-586-7965. This will be your only chance to win a pizza outside of listening at 2 o'clock. So if you want to play Royals Price is Right, call Rob up right now, 913-586-7965. We'll play a quick game of Royals Price is Right. We got Mitch Holthus coming up at the top of the hour at 4 o'clock. We're bouncing back and forth between Chiefs and Royals, basically for the rest of the month. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
We interrupt with a special report from the Missouri Lottery. With a new millionaire every 8.1 days last year, there's no shortage of Missouri Lottery winners. However, there is currently a shortage of confetti. This may impact all confetti-related activities, hullabaloos, whoop-de-doos, jamborees, shebangs, and any and all festive goings-ons. Rest assured, Missouri Lottery winners will receive a single confetto with every big win for the time being. We apologize for the shortage, but not the winning. Thus concludes this report from the Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome. Play responsibly.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold, and for those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, you know all about our friends over at Centric and how you can find a brand new career in as little as 4 months. But did you also know that you can work with your current schedule with some of their flex options for learning online or in person?
Maybe you're just getting out of high school and want to start that career now and that career path now, or you're looking for that change with better advancement, better pay. Centric can do those things for you.
They have plenty of funding options like the GI Bill. You just got to go talk to our friend Russ at Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Let's talk about the buying experience at Lewisburg Ford.
It's the best anywhere. Just ask all our customers, Toby. It is hands down the best experience you can have buying a new car. We have the no-hassle Toby Tobin price that we've had for 35 years now. Nobody else can say that. We've been saving Kansas City thousands and thousands of dollars for a lot of years.
I have been buying Ford cars and trucks from Lewisburg Ford for over 30 years, and I know personally this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck. Great prices, but there's a whole lot more than that.
It doesn't just stop at price, Toby.
No.
There's other factors to this equation, and it's trade-in allowance, financing, and the experience of how knowledgeable the people are that you're dealing with. And we surpass everybody in all those areas. We always have. We always will. That's why calling us is important.
Do you have that new pickup?
Absolutely. And it's dynamite.
Okay. Lewisburg Ford is your best place to buy a Ford car or truck. What's your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Lewisburg Ford or LewisburgFord.com.
Fall in the Midwest is pleasant. The air is crisp, the temperatures are mild, and all is right with the world. But every one of you knows that lurking around the corner is creepy old man Winter. He wants to come into your home, put his feet up on the couch, and take over the remote. That's why you need to replace your drafty old windows with triple glass replacement windows from Thermo King. Triple glass? But weren't you told that double glass windows were all you'd ever need? Think again. Triple glass windows offer double the insulating barriers against creepy old man Winter than double glass windows. And their super strong frames are guaranteed to never twist, warp, fade, or fail. And right now, Thermo King is selling their triple glass windows for the same price as double glass. Who would do such a thing? Thermo King, that's who. So don't let this beautiful weather fool you. Protect your home from creepy old man Winter and call Thermo King today. 888-KING-WIN or online at thermokingwindows.com.
The holidays are coming, and Lowe's is here to help you get ready. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $75 on select cooking appliances, $899 or more. And get even more of an interior refresh with up to 40% off select vanities and free delivery. Because Lowe's knows holiday hosting. Valid through 10/16 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get a $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Traffic's brought to you by Park and Go. Got a crash causing slowdowns in the Triangle eastbound 435 just before 470, and a stalled car that is eastbound 70 just past 435, and that whole exchange is starting to slow down. Tackle your airport parking needs at Park and Go. Always the best service, always the best price. Open 24/7, fast and free shuttle services. All spots are covered. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Park and Go, family owned and operated. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
All right, Rob, we're going to play a different version of Royals Price is Right. As you would imagine, tomorrow's game is sold out. You can't just call the Royals and buy 2 tickets. You're going to have to go to the secondary market. Rob, I went to StubHub, and I priced 2 tickets. Our guests are going to have to tell us how much they believe those tickets cost. You guys know Price is Right rules. Closest to the number without going over. If you win, we will give you a pizza that you can eat to watch the Royals from the house. You guys thought we was going to give you the tickets? Come on now. No, we're going to give you the pizza so you can watch the Royals from home. The tickets that I priced on StubHub. You can go on StubHub right now and get these. They're in section 208. They are in row HH. So is in Harrison, horse, HH. Section 208, row HH. How much do you think a pair of tickets cost? Max, all right, I've given you all the details. 2 tickets. This is in the outfield plaza, section 208, row HH. How much do those tickets cost?
Are we talking with fees or without fees?
No fees.
No fees.
No
I'm going to
fees.
say $264.
Each?
Each.
Okay, all right, $264 each. All right, I got you. All right, Eric. Hold on, let me put you on hold here. All right, Eric, how much does a ticket cost for tomorrow's game in section 208?
I think the pair is going to cost $600.
All right, $600 for the pair. Rob, do the math for Max for me so I can have the pair for the number. All right, I just want to make sure. I don't want to cheat nobody here on their pizza. I want to make sure you get your pizza.
$528.
All right, $528. All right, $528. All right, Aaron, a pair of tickets in 208. Let's say you want to go to the game tomorrow. You want to take your lady out there. You want to take your little one out there to watch the game. How much is this pair of tickets going to cost you?
Well, first, I will be out there selling beer, so anyone out there come out and find me.
All right, let's do it.
I'll get you a beer. I'm going to say $269 a ticket.
All right, $269 a ticket. Rob, go ahead and get that down for me here. Go ahead and do the math. I can't do all of it at one time.
$538.
$538. All right, $538. All right, last one here. Luke, you were the last one to guess this. You got to be a big baller to afford these tickets. This is not for the faint of heart. Tomorrow's Royals game. How much does it cost to sit in the outfield at Yankees Royals game 3?
I'd say $539.
$539. All right, Rob, go ahead and fade the music down a little bit for me. Appreciate you, Luke. These tickets right now on StubHub, if you would like to order them, they're $270 a ticket. That's good for $540. Luke is the winner. $539. The $1. It worked for him. It worked for him. You paying that, Rob, to go to the game tomorrow?
Basically giving them away.
You paying that? You paying $270 tomorrow?
No, I preferred when the city did not go to games because the pricing was better.
Yeah.
That was my.
This goes to show you the difference in the postseason. That ticket, you could have got that ticket for $15 a couple of weeks ago. No, not no more. No, it's $270 now. Go ahead out there and pay it.
I was at that Friday Night Twins game where Vern calls the lowest Friday night attendance of the season. That was a great time to just kind of walk around.
Yeah.
Now you people that told me on the text line in April, they can't sustain it. You're paying $540? Okay.
$540 to be out there at the game tomorrow. So I'm going to tell you guys the truth. This is 100% the true story. Rob, you can verify this. Give Lucas pizza, too. Can tell him congratulations on winning the pizza. So the Royals, they called me during the end of the season. Like, oh, hey, we know you got playoff tickets before. We want to take care of you. I balked. I hesitated. I didn't believe in the Royals. They were like, oh, we'll get you a good price. We'll get you where you want to sit. I was, no, I'm okay. Because I'm just thinking, I didn't want them to just have my money for a while and then they got to refund it. It felt like it was doing a lot. It really did. It felt like it was doing a lot. So I was like, you know what, man? Why don't I just wait to see if they make the postseason and then if they're hosting games at home, and I'll call my guy back. So they then win the Orioles series. I call him back, and he was like, oh, you know, we only got scattered singles, and then we got the Blue Moon party porch. Like, well, how much is that? I'm just kind of curious. Man told me $450. I almost hung up the phone on him. That felt like he was being real disrespectful. Like, you think I was about to pay that to go to a game. Then he called me back. I was like, oh, hey, Carrington, we got some for you if you want to go. We got some standing rooms. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I mean, how much is the standing room? Robbie told me the standing rooms for tomorrow were $150. Not even have a seat. I just got to go sit in the outfield experience next to the Ferris wheel, next to the little carousel to watch the game. I'm going to be at home listening to Bob Costas tomorrow. That's where I'm going to be. I'm going to be at home.com watching the game. You going to the game tomorrow, Rob? You going to the game?
No, I'll be watching from home. I probably will mute Bob Costas and be listening to Jake, Denny, and Ryan because I can't deal with Costas, but I am not paying my mortgage payment to watch the Royals in Game 3.
Someone on the text line says my old man is a season ticket holder. He paid less than $100 ticket. No, they tried to offer me. That's the deal they offered me when they were in the middle of a 7-game losing streak, and I didn't buy them, and now I'm regretting it. I regret my decision. Now I got to figure out some finesse. You know it's bad, Rob. You know it's bad when my Ticket Fairy can't even come through for me. Ticket Fairy's never let me down. Now Ticket Fairy's like, oh, man, I don't know. I'm what's going on right now? I'm going to be watching the game at home. Sad, heartbroken. I don't want to be in the press box. You can't cheer. Everybody's mean up there. No one's smiling. No one's having a good time. That doesn't sound like a way to go enjoy a baseball game. I want to be out there with the people. I will be with the people at the other place. That's where I'm going to be watching the game from the other place. That's where I'm going to be watching it. We got Mitch Holthus coming up at the top of the hour. We'll talk a little bit of Kansas City Chiefs here. I was at the stadium during the home run derby. It's kind of hard to explain this to somebody who didn't get the opportunity to be at the home run derby. Before the Royals run in 2014, the most fun I ever had at Kaufman Stadium was booing Robinson Cano. I think tomorrow could be a Robinson Cano-like situation with Jazz Chisholm.
Still feels the same that we're going to win it, you know. I don't feel like anybody feels any different, you know. We're going to go out there and do our thing still. We still don't feel like any team is better than us. Like you said, we had a lot of missed opportunities tonight, so they just got lucky.
Okay, all right. They just got lucky. I just don't know why you would do that. I'm serious. No one was worried about Jazz Chisholm. He was able to fly in under the radar. He's a good player. Hits 270, a little bit of speed, some versatility. Jazz Chisholm is great. I just don't know why you would upset a group of people that you know it's a great fan base. You know people are they haven't had a home playoff game in almost a decade, and you're just gonna anger those people. You're just gonna make those people all upset tomorrow. Like that first AB when he steps into the box, oh brother, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be real bad.
Also, I mean, I admit this is applying other sport logic to baseball. Do you remember when Carlos Rodon for 2 innings was sticking his tongue out and dancing around having a good time? Boy, that ended quick. Why would you antagonize that fan base and antagonize that group? If me and you have heard that comment, you know who definitely heard it? The Royals clubhouse.
Yeah, and to me, it's not even about just making the Royals mad. Like, I don't think you need more motivation. It's about making the fan base mad and drawing heat on you when you don't need to know. It doesn't make sense. You could have just came in here, just been, you didn't have to put the heat on you. But I mean, we've seen enough videos of Kansas City's fan base. You're not going to have the referee to tell the crowd at Arrowhead, hey, can you guys stop making less noise? You know what that makes them do? Make even more noise. Now you're gonna come into the Lions Den and you're gonna upset the Royals. It's not smart. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I just don't get why Jazz Chisholm would do that to himself. It just seems like there were maybe better ways to go about it. Coming up on the other side, we'll be joined in studio by Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are 5-0 heading into the bye week. We'll catch up with Mitch Holthus to see what he thinks about the Chiefs. They had I think it was their best win of the season yesterday against the New Orleans Saints. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This traffic's brought to you by Park and Go. Got a crash causing slowdowns in the Triangle eastbound 435 just before 470, and a stalled car that is eastbound 70 just past 435, and that whole exchange is starting to slow down. Tackle your airport parking needs at Park and Go. Always the best service, always the best price. Open 24/7, fast and free shuttle services. All spots are covered. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Park and Go, family owned and operated. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Circa Resort and Casino when KC travels to Vegas. Calling all KC football fans to Vegas. Join us at Circa Resort and Casino this October as we huddle up at Overhang Bar, catching some of the game day action at the world's largest sportsbook or lounge at Stadium Swim. Book your experience today. Visit circalasvegas.com.
The Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and our two soccer teams, the Current and St. Louis City SC, are all endorsing Amendment 2. Here's why you should support it too. Right now, Missouri sports fans are taking their money and placing their bets in Kansas and Illinois. We're losing our money to other states, money that could be invested in our schools. Amendment 2 fixes that. By legalizing sports betting, Amendment 2 will generate over $100 million for Missouri schools over the next 5 years. And there's a strong constitutional guarantee ensuring the revenue from sports betting will go to education. Kansas and Illinois know sports betting is a winner for their fans and taxpayers. It's time for Missouri to get into the game. Amendment 2 means over $100 million for Missouri schools. Join the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, Current, and St. Louis City SC in supporting Amendment 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly. Coming up Sunday, Week 6 in pro football, Baltimore against Washington. Awesome game with two electric quarterbacks. Baltimore, a 6.5-point home favorite, total 52.5. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't bet the under in this game with these two offenses, but as far as the point spread goes, I like Washington to cover the spread. Washington's offense is way too good to be this big of an underdog, and maybe Baltimore wins the game. Baltimore is a better and more complete team, but as far as cover a number that big, I don't like it. So give me Washington plus 6.5 Sunday in Baltimore. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Vanguard is 100% client-owned, serving over 50 million investors every day. Whether you're planning for retirement, putting your kids through college, or saving up for your next adventure, Vanguard can help you set personalized investment goals. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Copyright 2024, The Vanguard Group, Inc., all rights reserved, Vanguard Marketing Corporation Distributor.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Hi, welcome to Staples.
Yeah, my daughter needs a laptop for college, but I need to watch the budget.
Well, Staples hot deals on tech are backed by a price match guarantee, so our prices won't be beat.
Great. I can't believe my baby's starting college.
She'll do great.
I know.
Oh, let's get you a great deal on a laptop.
Save big on tech for school at Staples. Now get up to $300 off select PCs. Ends 8/31. Price match guarantee valid within 14 days of purchase. Exclusions apply. For details, visit staples.com/price match.
This is the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Royals baseball. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station. As voice of Chiefs Kingdom, he's seen the lowest of lows and the highest of highs.
You can doubt the Chiefs! You can dislike the Chiefs! You can disrespect the Chiefs! You're gonna have to deal with the Chiefs!
Your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Here's Mitch Holthus with CDOT on The Drive.
We are very happy right now to be joined in studio by Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. He is presented by Silverstein Eye Center. Achieve your best vision and experience outstanding patient care at Silverstein Eye Center. And also by GEHA. They are a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch, I'm going to guess. I've never asked you this. Primetime games at Arrowhead, you've been doing it for 20 years. It still doesn't get old. Especially
Never.
in the middle of everything that is going on in Kansas City. Like, yesterday was one of the probably 10 best sports days in Kansas City history when you think about the Royals and a Monday Night Football game. Obviously, there's been bigger days, AFC Championship wins, Super Bowl wins. There's been bigger days in sports history, but yesterday was a really special day. Royals win, Chiefs win. Both teams played incredibly well. Optimism right now is at an all-time high, and you got to be in one of the two games.
And the weather was incredible. That crowd was unreal. Walking down that tunnel, I never get used to it. I'm never numb to it. It always feels like the first time. But when you walk down that tunnel, when I do pregame with the Field Pass show with Matt McMullen, and then doing the radio stuff, but I go down the tunnel, and it's a feeling like you've never done it before. It's just so exciting for Sunday night or Monday night football. But last night, the crowd was great. It was a crucial catch game. We had a special guest there, Greg Sharp, who's the voice of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, Blue Valley High School graduate. He did K-State for a long time, and he's done the Huskers for like 20 years. But he's got pancreatic cancer, stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And so we brought him and his wife and his 3 daughters in, and one of the daughters' fiancés. But it was just all of that. It was this feeling of emotion, and people were excited about the Royals. The Chiefs' offense had their best volume game in a while. And it was just a good night all the way around.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. I would say that the theme of Monday Night Football, to me, it was maybe twofold. Let's start with the offense, and then we'll get to the defense. Kareem Hunt he played 64 games in Cleveland. He ran for 100 yards one time. He has been on the Chiefs for 17 days. He's already run for 100 yards for the Kansas City Chiefs. Juju Smith-Schuster had 260 yards in New England and got cut by, I believe, the worst wide receiver group in the National Football League. He comes to the Kansas City Chiefs, and he basically turned back into the Juju Smith-Schuster that helped this team win the Super Bowl. Yesterday, to me, was a testament to those guys. It was a testament to this front office and staff. It just feels a lot like New England during that time. You remember where New England would just find these guys, and they could just make it work with anybody. That's what we saw the Chiefs do yesterday.
Those two guys, we talked about all the happiness last night. There are no two happier humans on the planet right now than Kareem Hunt and Juju Smith-Schuster to be back with the Chiefs and in this environment. I talked to Kareem about it a week ago prior to this game, but then with Juju last night. And it felt like it was his birthday every day. He just talked about how unique the culture is. being in Andy Reid's offense, being surrounded by a group of guys that are very unique, humble but talented. There's all these underrated stories, but those two guys are thrilled to be back. I didn't think I would lose 2 bets in a row because I didn't think he'd have 27 carries last night, meaning Kareem Hunt. Then you throw in Samaje Perine. I think it's coming for him. He's going to bust out one of these weeks and have a big game. None of those three, CDOT, spent a minute in St. Joseph. That's what's crazy. Now, don't anybody get the feeling of like, well, hey, training camp doesn't matter. But in the case of these three guys, the fact that they weren't in St. Joseph at all, no preseason, and right now we're relying on them, is a remarkable story. And, yes, a testimony to Brett Veach, Andy Reid, but the rest of that locker room. Let me throw another one in there because this is a little bit off the line with that, but similar. We need to give some roses to the offensive line. They set the tone in that game. You know, the Saints came out and took the ball. And Dana and I were talking about this. They were kind of going to show some attitude like, hey, we didn't come in here to roll over in the loudest stadium on the planet. Like, we're going to take the ball against a defense that has not given up 28 points in 26 games. To me, it was just like a little bit of attitude showing. But the Chiefs psychologically had been, the one ink blot on the defense had been they'd given up 3 touchdowns and a field goal in 4 drives. They were near the bottom on first defensive possessions. The Saints were the best team in the league on first possessions. To get that interception, and then the offensive line came out with their hair on fire, psychologically just set the tone for the rest of the night. And then plug in Juju and Kareem and even Perine doing what he's doing.
What I loved most yesterday about the offense was I think that Andy and Nagy took the strengths of their offense and really highlighted them. You mentioned Kareem Hunt. He might be the freshest player in the National Football League. You gave him 27 touches yesterday, and he really got going. You talk about this team as they maybe spent more resources on tight end than any team in the National Football League with Travis Kelce. They just paid Noah Gray. You mentioned some of the other pieces that they have. Who do they highlight for the first 15 passing plays of the game? It was the tight ends. They used Juju in the role that I think he's best suited, a yards after catch. McCole Hardman, hey, we're not going to have you run the ball or run routes downfield. Hey, we're going to give you the ball at the line of scrimmage, make a guy miss. He had 4 catches for 40 yards yesterday. I thought the offense yesterday really highlighted the individual skill set for their offensive players and put them in positions to have success. And I thought it was one of their more efficient days offensively they've had so far this season.
No question. It's a hallmark of Andy Reid's offense. We've seen it for 12 years now. It's a fantasy player's nightmare. It's a reality fan's heaven. I mean, it's a dream just because you have so many ways you can go and so many ways you can attack. 4 tight ends eligible. They target Fortson right out of the way on an out pattern. And then, you know, to use the other guys, everybody that could have touched the ball with the exception, I think, Sky Moore and Justin Watson. I think that was it. Everybody else got involved in the action. One thing I really like what they did last night, I mentioned this to Dana on the broadcast, was when they ran those wide receiver screens, which don't seem to be working around the league at all. You'll see like one guy trying to block 2, and then they tackle the wide receiver for a 3-yard loss. They had McCole Hardman on the move on those. There were 2 blockers out in front of him, but he was motioning out that way instead of just standing there, backing up a yard, catching it, and trying to restart. He was in motion and timed the snap where he's getting the ball and the flow of the play. I thought it was a great adjustment by Matt Nagy and Coach Reid in the fact that they ran those plays a little bit different with McCole because it was more in sync and moving toward the defense instead of just standing there and trying to restart.
Right now, we're talking to Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. I know he threw an interception and didn't have a touchdown pass yesterday, but if you watch the game, that was as comfortable as I think we've seen Patrick over the course of the year. That felt like the guy who we all think is the best quarterback and the best player in the league. He made a couple of plays yesterday with his legs. If a guy wasn't open or creating more time with his legs, he just felt a lot more free yesterday to me.
And I think it's just taking some time. I mentioned to get used to these tackles, but also I think it's getting used to the fact he was so excited he was going to have Hollywood Brown, Isaiah Pacheco, and Rashee Rice, and now he doesn't have any of those guys. And she's thinking, okay, how are we going to do this? So that it just doesn't happen instantly for him or anybody else. So I think getting into the flow and getting more comfortable with what the Chiefs have now on the field will only get better as time goes on, even though the next 2 games are on the road. I saw it last night. I saw the same thing. There was just a comfort level or a flow. I keep going back to flow. The offense had more rhythm and flow to it than it's had in a while.
Do you think the Chiefs have the better run defense or pass defense? Because I've got numbers on both sides that just their ability to take away the other team's best option. Doesn't matter if it's Derrick Henry, doesn't matter if it's Chris Olave, doesn't matter if it's J.K. Dobbins. Like, they have stopped some of the best players in the National Football League so far this season and made them virtually useless for the most part.
It starts with the runners. Think about what they've done to the runners in this league. They faced number 2 and number 4 in this league, but you look at they've faced Derrick Henry. You've got Bijan Robinson, 16 carries for 31 yards. Kamara has 11 carries for 26 yards. The guy came into the game the best all-purpose player in the league, and first get back to have 3,000 yards rushing and 3,000 yards receiving. He has 66 total yards in that game. I mean, it's phenomenal what this defense is doing, and they're doing it at all 3 levels. I mentioned the strength is in their defensive rotation, that they can play so many different guys and not fall off a bit. Linebacker, there's not as many guys, but Nick Bolton's got his juice back. That play against Robinson in Atlanta, I think, just lit the fuse for him because he is not backed up at all. He's made explosive downhill plays, and he did it again last night. And then the DBs. Look what Jalen Watson is doing. Coach Reed talks about him tonight on the show. In Coach's segment about, he mentions Watson specifically. Now, McDuffie, we just get to use the fact that guy's one of the top 3 to 4 corners in the league. But when you get Watson playing the way he does and the way the safeties are playing, I mean, this is the best defense in the league, and we just don't even talk about it because we want to talk about offense all the time.
You mentioned a flow. The Saints, they never really got a flow going offensively. It's very similar to Atlanta that their offense kind of goes the way the running back goes. If you get Bijan Robinson going, it's hard to stop Atlanta with all their other options. Same way kind of with the Saints with Alvin Kamara. He's a guy that can run for 80 yards and then hit you for 70 yards through the air. He had less than 75 yards from scrimmage yesterday. The Saints never really got things going offensively. Their offense really boiled down to me. It was one deep pass to Shaheed over the middle of the field. Outside of that, they didn't really have too many other big or explosive plays.
And the quarterbacks the Chiefs have faced need the running game to get into that flow. Think of Kirk Cousins. He needs it more than most. Derek Carr needs it more than most. That's not a knock on those guys, but for them to get to a comfort level and them to feel like, let's get some balance here, some pop and sizz to the offense, they've got to have some semblance of the running game. Brock Purdy's the same way. It's that San Francisco offense, which is what New Orleans is running. But if you look at the quarterbacks the Chiefs have faced, Lamar Jackson's an exception. The Chiefs shut down Derrick Henry, and Lamar Jackson accounts for 400 yards. He's different. But some of these quarterbacks they have played right now until Herbert gets healthy, he's the same way. Like if they don't have a running game, it's hard to get the passing game going for them to get into a rhythm and flow and balance and trying to keep you off balance.
You are right in the fact that the Chiefs probably have, I would say the 3 biggest stars in the league are Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce for just all varying reasons. Just the 3 biggest move the needles, pop culture, 3 biggest stars. I look at this team right now. I mean, their 2 best and most consistent players might be on the defense, and Trent McDuffie, and you named, and Chris Jones. Just another game in which Chris Jones is just unblockable. And you mentioned how they've done against the run. I mean, Zay Flowers had less than 40 yards. Jamar Chase had less than 40 yards. Chris Olave, who's probably a top 25 receiver in the league, he had 10 yards yesterday and just couldn't get open yesterday. You mentioned it. I know the offense is going to take up a lot of the attention, and they should. This team's defense has just been incredible for basically the last 18 months.
One of the top teams in the league, Chiefs, as well, in not allowing 20-plus plays. There's been some exceptions. Remember the play Isaiah Likely in the game against the Ravens. Or last night, Rashid Shaheed. He's one of the more underrated dudes in this league. He's got so many big plays, and he busts the post in the middle. But for the most part, when you look at these 5 games, teams have been void of big plays. And so wide receivers will get 100-yard receiving games if they can pop a big play. Think about Juju last night in his 50-yarder on his way to 130 yards. But if you're not allowing that receiver to get the big-time play, it's hard for them to get going. Now we're talking about a quarterback trying to get going. A receiver cannot get going, and the runners aren't getting going. The Chiefs have just smothered all of that. And it's, again, I don't think get enough appreciation. We do, but I don't think outside in the rest of the NFL world they appreciate this Chiefs defense.
Right now we're talking to Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. What are you noticing with the Chiefs in the red zone?
you have to attack. The red zone you have to attack it pylon to pylon. Again, it's arena football. It's at the 20. You have a 30-yard field goal, 30-yard field. I'm sorry, but you must attack it from a horizontal standpoint. I got to put pressure on the defense from sea to shining sea. The other thing is, and I thought that this would be more of a factor to this point, and I think this is where you hope that Jared Wiley can get going some, or maybe Jody Fortson. There is no restriction on airspace in the red zone, meaning that's why you throw fades. You throw a corner into the back pylon. You try to get plays where you get it up in the air and let your guy go and get it. It's why Mike Evans is a beast in the red zone. And so you look at the great red zone receivers down through the past that go up and get it, guys. And so I think as the Chiefs go on, they will look at maybe more ways to attack it all the way across 53.5 yards of the field. But where do you get the elevation play? Is that Wiley? Is that Kelsey? Is that Fortson? Somebody, because that is a key as you go on in the red zone.
I know this is going to go unnoticed, and I know I can ask you this because you notice all of those things. One thing that really impressed me a lot yesterday with Travis Kelce is, I've had my questions about him, long-term holding up and all those things, is he's still willing to do a lot of the dirty work. A lot of those runs to the outside, they were really fueled by him and Noah Gray and blocking, and him not just, hey, I'm out there to look like I'm blocking. I mean, no, I'm putting guys on the ground. I'm trying to create space. For a guy who has had all the success that he's had on the field and off the field and played as much football as he had, the fact that he's still willing to get his hands dirty, so to speak, and still kind of get there in the middle of it, I think that kind of energy just feeds to the rest of the team. And how you were able to fuel a guy like Kareem Hunt running yesterday was they had great down the field blocking from their tight ends.
I love what they're doing with 3 tight end sets. And now you got 4 tight ends with Fortson. But if you have 3 tight end sets and one of the 3 cannot block, it's a waste of time. So Noah Gray's improved. Wiley's got to get better. But Kelsey's been outstanding. I would tell you, and based on when I review the video, his best 2 years of blocking have been the last 2 years. And the fact that he doesn't get a hall pass in this offense by being, you're the best tight end to ever play. Don't worry about wham blocking or worry about Trump blocking on the perimeter. He has to have he has to get in the wash many times. You can run a power set on offense, pull the guard inside, the power row inside play. But many times he has to block down Kelsey, or he's got to get the seal block on the outside to get Kareem Hunt going. He's been outstanding at it. And I'm glad you brought it up because it's way overlooked. But I love what they're doing. You can throw out of the 3 tight end sets because they have skilled tight ends. But if you don't have every one of those guys blocking, it doesn't do any good to have 50 tight ends. Everybody's got to do their job.
I want to ask you to kind of reflect just a little bit. And I know you would never do this during the season, but you know what? We're coming up on the bye week. And maybe, next time I talk to you, have this answer. When you think about sports the way we are right now, this is maybe the most parity we have just seen across the board. You think of college football right now. Like, finding the 12 teams for the playoff is going to be really, really difficult.
Way to go, Vanderbilt. I love it. I love it that Vanderbilt beat them.
Because everything just seems so jumbled up. Right now in baseball, all 4 series are tied at 1-1 as we head into Game 3. You think about the NFL right now. There are 21 teams in the NFL that are either 2-3 or 3-2. Everybody just feels so jumbled up. How have the Chiefs been able to create this level of separation where it is not even arguable who the best team is in the league? They are not perfect by any means, but you're not taking Minnesota over this team. You're not taking the Commanders or some of the teams who are off to really, really strong starts. How have the Chiefs been able to stay so far of everybody else in the league when the league is not designed for one team to run away from the pack?
An incredible infrastructure. The rest of the league, instead of complaining about the Chiefs or nitpicking at the Chiefs, ought to emulate the Chiefs. You know the team that's trying to do it the best, in my opinion? The Detroit Lions. Brad Holmes is in lockstep with Coach Campbell. They've transformed the way the Lions have done business, much like the way Andy Reid and starting with John Dorsey, but now Brett Veach have transformed this whole franchise. There is such a strong infrastructure. When you look at Brett Veach and the comprehensive, not only the talent, but the work ethic of his staff, the way they handle the cap, the way that they work and find guys. You alluded to it with Juju and Kareem Hunt and Samaje Perine assimilating into the system so quickly. That part of that is Brett Veach and his staff. A lot of it is the coaching staff of Andy Reid. No team, in fact, it's hard to look at all of professional sports. Who has a better infrastructure when you look at a personnel department, a coaching staff, and Hall of Fame folks than the Kansas City Chiefs right now? Who in the NBA would have it? Me? I don't know. Who would it be? Infrastructure-wise.
I mean, maybe you would argue the Celtics. Maybe you would argue the Nuggets. But those teams have also just done it for a shorter period of time, and they just haven't had the high-end success the way the Chiefs have. The Chiefs have been the undeniable best team in the NFL for now almost 7 years, which
it's impossible to do.
Which has just happened maybe like 3 times in league history this has happened.
And the times that this happened before, you didn't have a 17-game season, and you didn't have a 5th game against a number 1 team from the other conference. You didn't have any of that. They just made it so much harder, and the Chiefs are doing it so much better when it's so much harder. But it goes back to an incredible, unshakable infrastructure that's there that has enough wiggle room that it deals with flashpoints like the Chiefs are now. We're living something really incredible right now. Who in baseball has the infrastructure that the Chiefs would have at this point? Who in hockey's got it? I mean, it's just you ask the question, and to me, it's undeniably the Chiefs in how solid they are at every point of the star.
It seems to me, and just following other teams, like you look at the problems that the Raiders are having, you look at the issues right now with the Jets, that the Chiefs have figured out the 3 hardest things to do.
How did Robert Saleh get fired?
You want my answer?
Well, I think I know.
Yeah, okay, all right. I know if you really wanted me to answer it.
I don't want that answer because I think he's a really good coach. But are they doing anything that's going to building an infrastructure so that the Jets can challenge the Bills in that division? You see that? I'm floored by that decision.
Yeah, to me, when I look at the Chiefs and I look at the Jets, the Chiefs have been able to do the 3 hardest things. They have everybody appearing to push in the same direction. They have created a culture. They have got everyone to buy into that culture. And they have bought into it for the last 7 years. And if at any moment they don't think you have bought into the culture, you will not be on the team anymore.
And they have rings and confetti in their hair. So what are we missing here? If you're an NFL team, you're an NFL owner, you're an NFL general manager, find the coach that you may, you've got to yield some. I'm in some kind of power struggle.
That also goes to your Lions.
Oh, the quarterback.
The Lions have been able to do that too. Yeah,
the quarterback. The Lions are doing it right now. That's impressive because they've changed 50 years of culture by doing it or more. And the Chiefs did the same thing with Andy Reid. But I guess we're going to throw the quarterback in on this deal now. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Is it a quarterback situation with the Jets? I don't know. But Patrick Mahomes is part of this infrastructure because he thinks as like-minded as Andy Reid and Brett Veach every day in the way they do business. He's not chasing stats. He's like, if we're going to win 3-0, we'll figure it out. If I throw for 331, that's okay. But Patrick Mahomes thinks like a GM. He thinks like a coach. Andy Reid thinks like a quarterback or thinks like a player. And the rest of the league is just kind of spinning around and trying to figure it out.
Well, I mean, Mitch, I'll say this. Maybe you can't say it. I think we both know Patrick enough to know. You know what I know Pat would never do while football practice is going on? Take a vacation.
He ain't going to Egypt.
Never.
During mandatory minicamp.
Never.
Dude, he has his own camps. Like, if you're going to wear the red, you're like, hey, what are we doing on March the 10th? No, you're going to Dallas.
He has extra football practice for everybody.
Yeah,
no.
And you're all going, and you're all going to like it. And you're going to go TAs, and you're going to love mandatory minicamp, even though it's in June. And you ain't going on vacation. You're going to go on vacation when training camp, before training. And by the way, when you go to St. Joseph, polish your shoes and snap your chin strap because it's going to be every day of work. But we're going to have fun while we're doing it. That's why this buy is huge. People have asked me. It's my Minute with Mitch this week. And I'm going to tape it tomorrow at 41. People go, it's too early, man. It's too early. Week 5. No, it's not. No, it's not. Not for a team that's played 46 games in 2 1/4 years. Nobody's been busier than the Chiefs. And it's not just during these runs. It's during the offseason because Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce work so hard during the offseason. The throttle has been stuck wide open since, I don't know, Super Bowl 54. It just feels that way, and it's great. But it's like we're all just running this running the marathon or the Tour de France. So when you get a break, take a couple days off. This is huge for this team to do it because they're going to get right back on the track like a pit stop in a NASCAR race and rev it up again. But that's what these guys are doing. And again, but I'm glad that we got to the quarterback, because in all that infrastructure talk I just gave you, I shouldn't have left him out, because a quarterback can throw all that off. A wide receiver trying to be the highest paid cat and going to be, I'm just holding out of everything, can throw all that off. In talking with folks in the Cincinnati organization, it has been no fun for them in this offseason and training camp. You can throw it off. The Chiefs have not had that, or very little of that, in the time that Andy Reid's been the head coach here.
That is Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, joining us on the show. He is presented by Silverstein Eye Center. Achieve your best vision and experience outstanding patient care at Silverstein Eye Center, and also by GEHA. They are a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch, enjoy your bye week. I look forward to catching up with you in a couple weeks.
I shall enjoy this bye week. It is going to be enjoyed at a high level. Let's just put it that way. I'm disappearing and escaping, so don't try to find me.
All right, we will not find you.
Okay.
That is our guy, Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Coming up on the other side, two GMs that are doing an incredible job of getting their team